Sync. What's up, guys, and welcome to our review of Shang Chi.
Shang Chi. People think it's actually called Shang Chi. It's actually called Shang Chi.
Chris, we're not doing a short anymore. This is the actual YouTube video.
Oh, okay. Hey, here we go.
Okay.
The review starts now.
Now that we're on the same page, Shang Chi. Of course, that's how I think you properly pronounce it. But I have heard people say Shang Chi, which is probably what I said earlier as well. Until I saw the movie.
Also, probably mention that my name's not technically Sean.
What is it?
It's Shang Chi.
The main character's name is Sean, and Shang sounds like
yeah,
it.
He Americanizes his name as Sean.
Shang Chi.
Shang Chi. Shang.
Sean.
Yeah, there's a whole scene of him teaching Aquafina how to pronounce his name. It's a thing. If you go see the movie, you'll understand. Shang Chi. If you see the movie, you'll learn to speak Chinese, maybe.
Maybe. No, I don't think that's how it works.
Maybe.
I don't think how it works. Obviously, that particular scene is not a spoiler, but we'll be talking about spoilers in this episode. So if you haven't watched it yet, you should definitely watch it.
We'll give our overall thoughts first, and we'll go into spoilers a bit later on.
Correct.
So Talos, what did you think of Shang-Chi?
The one thing I want to say up front is the actual cinematography of the fight scenes from the beginning almost up to the end. I can talk a little bit about that later, but up until the end, it starts to kind of fall apart a little bit, but I think might be because of CGI. For the most part, I want to say 75% of the fight scenes, superb, beautiful.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you. The cinematography for the whole movie I thought was amazing. I kind of know what you're saying, it falls apart. I'd say it's more than 75% is better. I'd say it's like a good 95%. And there's that little 5% where it becomes visual, but it's like it's very. I mean, we'll talk about it later on. It's very slight. It's not too long at all. But yeah, I think the cinematography is amazing. Fun fact: one of the cinematographers on this, Brad Allen, who the film is dedicated in his memory, unfortunately did pass away. He died very close to the film's California release. It premiered a couple of weeks earlier in California, I think on the 16th of August. But yeah, Brad Allen passed away on the 7th of August. 2021, and he was the stunt coordinator of Shang-Chi, and he did a great job. So he did.
Oh yeah, he did. When
they do a sequel and when Shang-Chi appears in other MCU movies, God, I hope they get someone just as good, because his shoes are going to be very hard to fill. Other movies he's done the the Shanghai movies with Jackie Chan, Rush Hour 2. He did the Kingsman movies. Obviously, like all these great movies, great special effects. He did one of my personal favorite movies of all time, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Ooh.
And like that movie is literally, it's a live action video game. It's the best live action video game / anime movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not even based off a video game or an anime. But he got the fight scenes to look so much like that. Cinematographer, to go back on him, this isn't his first time doing the Marvel movie. Not only did he do The Matrix, but he also did Spider-Man 2.
I feel like we're doing Easter eggs.
Oh yeah. All of this will be covered in an Easter egg video. And he will be returning as a cinematographer for Ant-Man Quantumania.
Oh yes, I'm excited for that one actually. But going back into this movie and not Easter egg related, obviously there'll be a separate video of that later in the future with the returning Easter egg guru, hopefully.
Oh, he is gonna make a return. So the fight choreography is, in my opinion, it's the best the MCU has ever been. It's amazing because you do see a lot of hand-to-hand stuff with like Black Widow and Captain America, but it's not to this extent. There's way too much cutting between shots.
I agree. It feels different from those other, I guess, movies that we've seen. And keep in mind, this is not the first time Marvel's dabbled with martial arts style of movies. Do you remember that what Netflix
Iron Fist?
Now, a lot of people didn't like that one, of course. And a lot of people were saying, oh, you're going to be stuck. Another martial arts is going to be as messed up as that one. But this one definitely redeemed itself compared to the Iron Fist.
The funny thing is I liked Iron Fist well enough. I thought it was fine.
A lot of the earlier movie was pretty grounded to like reality and like realism, I guess you can say.
Well, apart from the intro.
Oh yeah. Of course, that part. Apparently, his father can live like a very, very long time. But apart from that, but vast majority of the movie is pretty grounded, I think, if you want to call it that. But there are like supernatural or crazy elements that goes like on top, like kind of layered on top of it, but it didn't.
I would disagree that a lot of the movie is grounded. I think up until I suppose slight spoilers, although you see it in the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailers, why are you watching this? But there's a fight on a bus, and that's where the movie starts to
pretty much,
become less grounded, and that's where the movie gets good, because it starts off and you have Sean and Aquafina's character. Let's just talk about performances actually while we're talking about this. What did you think of the performances overall?
Like the one thing I will note is all of the funny moments, the funny like haha moments that like you pretty much already seen it in the trailers, and so but you still you're still able to enjoy it for the most part. But in terms of adding more comedic timing or more comedic scenes, it wasn't really there. It like all the funny bits was already shown in the trailers.
See, I don't know what funny bits you're talking about that are in the trailers, but I know there's a character that appears later on that's not in the trailers, and I thought all the funny bits came from him.
Well, okay.
I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. But yeah.
I don't know what you thought about Aquafina, but I don't know. She got on my nerves. I've only seen her. Well, I haven't seen her in anything apart from this, but I've heard her voice in Raya and the Last Dragon. She annoyed the hell out of me in that, and she annoyed me in this too.
Is it because of her acting or her voice or something else?
Not her voice. Her voice is so mean to say, but...
Did you not know? Did she not know? You're going to Nick's grandma's house wearing this, wearing that?
It's how she phrases things. But she phrases them the exact same in Raya, so I'm not sure if it's this movie's fault, that the script was just poor for her. But no, because she's the exact same in Raya and has the exact same kind of vocabulary and attitude with the way she says every line. I was just like, no, I can't get into this person where she's like, dude, totally blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, can you shut up and stop yelling? Let the movie go. Like, it's such a pure movie about like regular values and keeping touch of your heritage, and she like her character is all about being against that, and I think that also shows where her character fails. But there's a point in it where she's like, I don't know Chinese, and then later on in the movie people are speaking Chinese to her and she knows what they're saying.
Yeah, I agree.
She just shows like how bad it can be to Americanize these cultures, if that makes sense.
I totally get that.
Yeah, I don't know. So she didn't work with me at all. I feel with these Marvel movies, it's like you always have a comic relief, right?
Yes.
And for me, because none of her jokes were landing with me. All of her jokes were just making me like eye roll and stuff like that. That for the first half of the movie, there was no comic relief whatsoever. And I didn't mind that. I didn't mind it at all. Like, she was annoying me because I was like, your jokes aren't landing. Stop. But like once she was like, when she wasn't making her jokes, I was really enjoying it. And then the comic relief kind of came in the second half of the movie. She's like making jokes of like, oh, my vagina. And it's like, okay.
Did she really say that? I forgot.
She says the word vagina at least 2 or 3 times in the movie, because I feel like it shows the influence she had on the script more so than like, I don't think it was they were writing poor jokes for her, and more so. So
you think she has some kind of creative control in some of the on her words?
I think she was ad-libbing these jokes, and they were like, yeah, we'll put them in the movie.
Vast majority of the actors that were in the movie and actresses that were in the movie, I believe them. They have that sense of believability. But with her, I feel like she was almost inserted into there for that comic relief. But we already had a better comic relief later. But I don't know.
It's like the performances of everyone else they're done so well, and they're so pure, and they're so living. There's a great. I mean, we'll talk about it in spoilers, but there's one good moment of her character, and I hate that it's like the only good moment of her character. But we can talk about it later on. So the premise of the movie, just if you want to know a basic premise without any spoilers, Shang Chi has escaped from his father, who is the Mandarin, who we've heard about through the MCU's past a lot.
Yep. It goes all, as far back as Iron Man.
Hence why I'm wearing an Iron Man 3 shirt. And Shang Chi basically has to, confront his father. He has to resolve a lot of family issues with his father, his sister, his mother who passed away when he was a child. And it's a lot of it is basically this really nice family conflict that we've never seen in the MCU prior. And it's a really pure movie when it's down to that kind of stuff. There isn't much. Yeah, it's really at its core. It's a really whole movie, and there's not much influence from prior MCU. There's obviously, I feel like if you didn't know the MCU, this is like a good enough standalone movie.
It is.
That you could still watch it. Yeah.
There's only a few scenes, but that we can talk about in spoilers that actually relate to other Marvel stuff, but only hints, really.
At its core, it's a really nice family movie, and I think it's absolutely great. I think go see it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch for sure. And from what we found out, it's like over the weekend, it grossed over I want to say 72 million over the Labor Day weekend.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
It's done so well that Sony, who had pushed Venom back because of Black Widow, have now pushed Venom forward.
Yeah. Before we give our final rating, what did you think about the music and the selection of tracks they use? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed the music. I thought it did a good job at creating proper character themes, and we've had a few in the MCU. You have the Spider-Man,
Black Panther has its own distinct sound as well.
Doctor Strange has his own theme, but it had this nice kind of, Asian sound to it. And I think there's only one moment in the movie where they play a track to its fullest, and then they loop the track, and
you can hear the loop, right?
It was a long track.
You can hear the loop.
You can hear the loop.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that too.
For those that may not know, I'm a big audiophile, and that's the stuff that I kind of listen to. I listen to sound effects. I listen to the actual music and composition of it, and stuff like that. You can definitely notice if you really listen to it. But for I guess to normal ears or someone who just not really pay attention, they probably would have noticed. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess let's go into final ratings. Like I said, it's a lot more heart than some other MCU movies. It's definitely got the family dynamic way better than Black Widow had. And I would consider Shang-Chi the real first movie of Phase 4. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Aquafina just brings it down. Those
2 points, apparently.
For me, unfortunately. As an MCU movie, like I said, a lot of heart. And a lot better than some of the others. I would rank it up there as definitely in the top half of the MCU.
I guess for my rating, I think I would like to compared to the movies that came out thus far in 2021. I think this is definitely one of the best movies. I guess you can say. Obviously, there's still a lot of movies coming out later that might actually, drop that ring a little bit. Hint, hint. No Way Home maybe. But this movie by itself, as its own standalone, like Chris was saying, it kind of has a nice loop that tied together the earlier MCU stuff. It kind of almost did some course corrections in a way to some stuff, or at least more explanation of some stuff from earlier MCUs before they were even a part of Disney. But we'll talk about that more in spoilers. The music was good, the cinematography was good, the choreography was good, all that. Great. So I will give this actually a little bit higher grade at a 9 out of 10.
And then how would you rank it in terms of the MCU?
That's a lot of movies. We're talking 30 plus movies now in series.
No. It's only 20. It's only 24.
It's only 24.
It's only 24.
That's
why I'm going top half.
I would say I'll have to agree with you, top half, because it is an origin story. At the purest form, and I'm definitely intrigued to see more of it, and it does sound like there will be more of it.
Let's play a fun game here at Noneother. So we're going to be doing these reviews, and let's try and find what our top movie of 2021 is. You might be thinking, oh well, we're just going to rank them the regular way, and sure we can do that, And maybe the Easter egg guru would do that. But us here, we're going to go with the least conventional way of doing that.
Okay.
And so we're going to go better or worse than the previous movie that we did. So the previous movie was Suicide Squad.
Well, technically we did Free Guys too. Do you want to include that as well?
Oh, I forgot about Free Guys. So Free Guys better or worse than Suicide Squad already. I can tell you it's worse.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that we even watched it.
But since we are starting this a little bit late, we are going to be including previous movies and that we've seen. I would say Suicide Squad is probably better than Shang Chi, and of course, way better than Free Guys.
But that's not the game. So for me, Shang Chi better or worse than Suicide Squad? I think Suicide Squad is probably better.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So Suicide Squad is the top movie of 2021.
So
right
far,
now.
according to none other.
Everything else into the bin.
Yes. So definitely tune into the next movie review, which I believe is going to be Venom, and we'll do a comparison of those Suicide Squad and Venom to see better or worse. But
right.
Yes.
So spoilers from this moment. If you have not seen Shang-Chi, click off the video.
But of course, come back because we'll miss you. We'll miss you.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, comment. Come back when you've seen Shang-Chi. But if you haven't seen it, go! Shang-Chi dies. Oh, look at you. Now you're all mad. Now you're all mad because you didn't click off the video. Good for you. Well, you know what? That was a fake spoiler, so now you can click off.
Yes, so what'd you think about that pocket dimension? I actually thought it's its own separate universe. I thought they said universe a couple of times, but I guess according to you, they never said that at all. They said dimension.
No, they never said it was another universe.
I don't know. In the comments, help me out. Did they ever say universe?
I don't know if they used dimension or realm, but they definitely didn't use universe because that would just confuse people.
It would.
It reminds me of how like Doctor Strange had like the dark dimension and stuff like that. It's just another dimension, and there's like the soul sucker things that come out of it. That was cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was all pretty cool. We probably should have mentioned this in the earlier review, but I know nothing about the 10 Rings or the lore of 10 Rings. I never read the comic books of 10 Rings. Like this movie in itself helped explain a lot of that without overloading it, if that makes any sense.
They've changed stuff. I mean, Shang-Chi's father in the comics, this is the only thing I know, is that they changed him because he was originally Fu Manchu. And they were like, that's a bit racist, so let's change that. You know what? Whatever. The current Mandarin worked, and it was cool to actually see the Mandarin and see how, because they didn't actually retcon anything in this movie.
No, they didn't. If anything, kind of enhanced the Mandarin, because obviously the Mandarin was referenced in Iron Man 1, which is what in the review we were talking about, how it kind of had a nice little bow in a way, like bow and tie, of like kind of cleaning up a little bit of the earlier stuff before they were even Disney. And
even so the big spoiler is Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3, this movie.
Comedic genius, by the way. Comedic genius. He is
played by Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, he is definitely the comic relief here.
It's amazing how, and I'm not sure if you even knew about this, Talos, but there was a Marvel one-shot called All Hail the King. I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus if you look for it. I know they're starting to put the one-shots on there. It was on one of the DVDs, I think, Toward the Dark World. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that whole one-shot was about Ben Kingsley's character meeting the guy from Iron Man 2 that ran the other corporation in prison. And it's all about him having a good time in prison. And at the very end of it, he gets kidnapped by someone from the 10 Rings to go with the real Mandarin. And they left you on that cliffhanger. And that was in 2014. So the fact that they paid that off in this, I thought was great.
Yeah.
Like that there was this nice little one shot that they paid off, you know, this many years later. When that came out, everyone was like, oh, here we go, we're gearing up for the Mandarin. And obviously there's so much Infinity Gauntlet stuff to kind of deal with up until then, that now is the perfect time to start dealing with these loose threads.
Yes.
Abomination, also another loose thread, as you mentioned.
In reference to your Abomination, there's this whole like almost like a fight club underground place. Apparently, apparently the sister of Shang Chi was actually the one who actually made it from the ground up. I think she was like 14 years old, and she actually made a fight club business somehow. I don't know. They never really explained it, but she somehow did.
I guess because like so many years passed. Like they're adults now, obviously, so I guess she's had like 10 or so years to do it. And if she got snapped, then that like adds an extra 5 years. That's about 15 years for her to set up this business.
Yeah,
I'll give her the 15 years. Dude, what did you think of Razor Fist? So they never actually say his name, but they steal his car, and his car has the name Razor Fist all over it. When he first walked out and he had like the stump, there's like the metal bit at the end of it, and I was like, oh cool, it's like Barrett, he's gonna like try and shoot them. And then a sword comes out. I was like, whoa!
Ooh. And this is like the very beginning of the movie, like during the bus sequence, and it was also shown in the trailer as well.
Awesome. I think the best was when they're escaping the fight club, and they're like on the rafters and stuff. And that's where I mentioned Aquafina has like one good use in the movie is like falling, and Shang-Chi, like she just added some really good tension for Shang-Chi to have someone to save in that moment. That was the only good moment of Aquafina in the movie. But there's a big dragon, and they have to kill the dragon, and Aquafina has like a bow and arrow, and she shoots it, and you might be thinking, oh well, that's cool, she got like her victory. It's a big enough target.
Well, the one thing I will point out about that there's a little bit of a, I don't know, I feel like at that point in the movie they were almost rushing the fight scene a little bit, because I think there was only like maybe 3 days for her to like learn how to use bow and arrow and somehow learn Chinese as well. Maybe less than that.
I don't even know if there was. Yeah, but they never said that she's learning Chinese, so I don't know if she actually learns Chinese or not.
Just, well, I know for me, my parents mostly speak Tagalog, so I can't really speak Tagalog very well, but I can at least understand Tagalog. So maybe that's her explanation as well. She can understand it, but she can't really speak it, or maybe certain words she might not know because, like for example, for me,
she might be just picking up the basic stuff.
Exactly, and like for me, like if my fellow tips are speaking very fast or they're speaking all at the same time, there's no way for me to like comprehend what the conversation is happening because there's way too much going on.
But yeah, when she took that shot, I was kind of like, oh fine, you hit it. It's a big enough target, Aquafina. Why didn't you hit it sooner? And we talked about how the shot. I'm guessing the dragon fight at the end is where you were struggling to. Cinematography and stuff. Yeah,
like it was just a like, I guess you can call it like
it was a bit of a mess at that point. Yeah, they're like on the back of this dragon, and then there's another dragon, and then a dragon starts sucking the dragon's soul, but then they're like falling and stuff, and it's like there's a lot going on, and then there's Aquafina trying to shoot at it. There's just a lot going on in that moment. But once that's done, and you know he does the Kamehameha fireball.
Which they reference Dragon Ball, by the way, or Dragon Ball Z.
It's funny as well because I wonder, was that Disney flexing? Do you think it was? Like
maybe.
Their IPs?
Maybe.
Because Fox produced Dragon Ball Evolution, which is
a fantastic
one of the worst movies
movie.
Ever made.
We'll review it. 10 out of 10.
I hate you. But Fox produces the Dragon Ball movies, so technically Disney has some ownership over. They don't own the IP. Toei owns it, but I guess they can say Kamehameha, Fireball. Speaking
of CGI, what did you think about all the mystical beasts around there? Like, there was one that one little pet that was with Trevor. There was
Morris.
Yeah, there was one particular scene where we thought Trevor died, right? And like the freaking pet was going kind of nudging it like it's like Bambi or something, and Trevor was like, "I'm playing dead, shut up," or something like that. And then
he's like I'm acting.
and then the pet actually what is it called? Played dead as well to like match him. Like I thought that was so adorable. Like that's the one thing I like about Marvel movies is like they make you attached to like these crazy creatures, or even
it's funny though, right? Because like Trevor, he's in half the movie, but some of the most endearing stuff comes from Trevor.
Yeah, and honestly,
And he's
he
like
made
such
that movie
a
for
zany
me.
goofball.
He made that movie for me.
Yeah, really. I really got attached to Shang Chi, and like the conflict of him and his dad, I thought was done really well.
Oh yeah, speaking of his dad, what'd you think about him being the villain? Like for me, the motive made sense for what he was going for. Like it wasn't like I just want to be evil just to be evil. Like there's a reason why he's evil, or at least in the opposite corner.
And it's cool that like the rings are corrupting him even more. It's very kind of like Lord of the Ringsy, or you know, it's like that was done really well. And the fact he's like seeing visions of her, I thought there's like a really cool scene where he sees like a vision of his wife and son in the corner, and he's like he's kind of flashing back but not really, and then like one of the soldiers interrupts him and he's like, what? And it reminded me of Macbeth in a way. Like it's such a weird comparison. Well, actually, I don't know if it is. Well, Macbeth obviously he has like visions of Duncan and the people he's killed, of course, but he also has like the vision of the dagger. This is the dagger I see before me. But they reference Macbeth in this because Trevor Slattery is doing. He's like saying, "Oh, I do like bits from Macbeth," and he's like doing a wee speech from Macbeth at one point too. That was probably intentionally a reference to Macbeth.
Probably.
Because even like as it's coming up to the war, I could see very much Macbeth in him. But you can imagine Lord Macbeth leading up to the final battle, sitting there stewing in his chair.
There's a good line as well from Shang Chi saying, like, "Be with us, be with your family, like get out of your head and be with us." And I thought that resonated very well with the character's motives, and of course, like we just want the family to be together.
Yeah, like his sacrifice was earned at the end.
He basically he just gave all his rings over to his son.
I feel like Shang-Chi, and there's definitely like a whole motive in them of Shang-Chi earning the rings at the start. You know, his dad says, "Someday you'll be strong enough to carry these." And I think one other thing it does is really great is Shang-Chi, when you first saw the bus scene, were you kind of thinking, as cool as it was your head kind of thinking, oh, he's just like doing all these martial arts out of nowhere, like this is a bit silly? Because at first I thought it was like maybe the mother's necklace had a bit of magic, and like the magic was why he was doing the martial arts.
There was a lot of expedition throughout the, like, sprinkled in. It wasn't like all at once, which is what I appreciate. Yeah. But it was like sprinkled in, so like it started explaining more of the backstory at one moment at a time instead of all at once. Like
Shang-Chi, and I know in What If Episode 3 review, I go off about Captain Marvel, and Shang-Chi is the perfect movie as an anti-Captain Marvel. Because in Captain Marvel, you start the movie and she's already strong, she's already powerful, and all that happens is she just gets more powerful and is able to just destroy a spaceship like with ease. Whereas Shang-Chi actually struggles, he works for his power, and you see that.
You see that struggle.
You literally have you literally have the visual representation of the mark in the wood. Because when he first starts it, he punches it until his knuckles bleed.
Yeah.
And he gets hit on the shoulders and everything. The man actually trains to get to where he is.
And that was a brutal training sequence, by the way. Like I don't know how those kid actors are able to like withstand that, like being whipped on the side of the ribs.
Yeah, but it worked. Like it actually made me enjoy the movie so much more. It neglected with Captain Marvel, it neglected with Black Panther, and like you might be thinking, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But you know what? I'll even say they kind of neglected it with Spider-Man, where Spider-Man he didn't really need to train. He does have that like little sequence where he's learning the Stark gadgets, but as far as his own powers, you don't have like him learning to climb the wall. And I know Raimi and Garfield already did that, but still, like this one actually had the character learning to train to get to where they are. One of the best aspects of this movie, from the start, and obviously it leads the whole way through, and you were saying it, Talos, is you can understand the dad's motives, and the movie starts and you see how Shang-Chi's parents meet, and the fight between them, and the moment of them meeting.
It was actually kind of adorable.
It
was adorable,
yeah. It was really really well done.
It's almost like they were dancing but fighting each other.
Kinda. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Obviously, the movie ends with them, beating and going back into civilization, meeting their friends from beforehand and trying to explain their crazy adventures.
Like
and
we
then
are.
we get yeah, and then we get some massive hints towards the future of the MCU.
Oh yes.
We're gonna talk about that in a future video. I love Shang-Chi. I hope you guys did too. Leave us your thoughts down below.
Probably grazed through a lot of stuff, but if there's anything you guys want to talk about in more detail, let us know in the comments as well. I guess that's pretty much all we got. We'll definitely see you in the Easter egg video featuring the returning Easter egg guru, David. And of course...
We won't see you there, but the Easter egg guru will see you.
We'll definitely
We'll
see
see
you
you in
there.
the ending explained video.
Yeah, we'll see you in that one. Yeah. But that's all we got. Until next time, this is Talos and Chrisora.
It's
signing out.
Chrisora. Good luck.
Peace. Why always good luck? I don't get that.
I'm just wishing them luck for their day.